And we're live.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good
Okay.
coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, the motion picture you're about to see contains scenes so terrifying, the public must be given grave warning.
Hello and good evening. It is welcome to the Bloody Binge Movie Podcast. I am your host, Stuart Dweller, of course, and we have a very special episode coming to you this week. The episode we couldn't bring to you last week because of the lack of headphones working and the movie I chose. Yeah. So this week, Merry Christmas in July. It is our Christmas in July episode, and we are watching a British horror movie, The Killing Tree. And it was a movie. We'll get into it. This is a very infuriating movie in all honesty. Um but we'll get into that here in a minute when we get to the deep dive. I hope everyone's had a great week. I hope everyone's having a great Friday. Um so before we get all cozy by the fire, playing some Christmas music and everything like that, let's go ahead and dive into this week's haunt industry and horror movie news. We have a big one this week. So first off, let's start with with I guess the elephant in the room, the biggest story of the week. Controversial figure in the haunted house industry, Russ McKamey of McKamey Manor was arrested last Friday on charges of domestic assault. However, new charges were filed against Russ this week, including second-degree attempted murder and rape. The owner of the Middle Tennessee, can you still hear me? All right, good. The owner of a Middle Tennessee haunted attraction known for its intense scare tactics has been charged with attempted second-degree murder, rape, and domestic assault. Sorry, I already read that. Court records from the Lawrence County Sheriff's Office show that Russ Allen McKamey was arrested at his Summertown house on Friday, July 19th, after allegedly assaulting his girlfriend. He was booked into the jail and was released on a $1,000 bond and ordered to have no contact with the victim. However, since Friday, more charges have since been filed against the McKamey Manor owner, accusing him of trying to kill his girlfriend on more than one occasion. The first incident was reported on Wednesday, July 17th, a day before the alleged arrest or the alleged assault. So basically, it all began on last Wednesday, the day before, I guess, the assault he was actually arrested for. In an arrest affidavit, investigators said McKamey strangled the victim to a point that she lost consciousness during a domestic altercation at the Summertown home. A second altercation reportedly took place on the same day, but McKamey was not booked into jail. So basically, last Wednesday, something happened at the house. Nothing was done. I don't even know if they called the police or anything like that from the sounds of it. But on Friday, July 19th, police said McKamey raped the victim and strangled her, causing her to lose consciousness for a second time. The additional charges now put his bond at over $100,000. McKamey began operating the McKamey Manor on his property in Summertown in 2017 after relocating from San Diego. In the years since, the attraction has stirred up controversy due to the extreme experiences of participants, with some referring to it as a torture chamber. A 2023 Hulu documentary further highlighted the controversy, with some past participants claiming there is no way to stop the tour, among other questionable practices. The documentary, entitled Monsters Inside America's Most Extreme Haunted House, featured 5 people who had previously been guests of the manor and included footage of the tours that was taken by McKamey and posted online. In some of the videos, people can be seen getting dragged by chains or locked into confined spaces while water pours in. Prior to the Hulu documentary, thousands of people signed a petition in 2019 to shut McKamey Manor down. Deputies have also been called to to the property several times in the past, with a criminal investigator for the 22nd Judicial District Attorney's Office interviewing McKamey in March of 2018. However, the McKamey Manor has remained open. Shortly after the documentary was released in October last year, Tennessee Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti sent a letter to Russ McKamey requesting various documents and information pertaining to some of the claims of the past participants. In his letter, Skrmetti raised concerns about McKamey's business practices, particularly taking issue with claims that there is no way to stop the tour nor win the $20,000 prize offered to those who complete the tour. McKamey responded by filing a 32-page lawsuit against the Tennessee Attorney General a few months later. In the lawsuit, McKamey claims the Attorney General's request not only violates his First, Fourth, Fifth, and 14th Amendment rights, um, but is a part of a larger effort to prevent him from engaging in lawful conduct on his private property. As a part of the lawsuit, McKamey asked the court to issue a preliminary injunction keeping Skrmetti and his agents from forcing him to comply with the request information. McKamey is also suing Hulu over the documentary that aired in October. So here's the thing. If you have ever worked in the haunted house industry, if you've ever been a part of the haunt industry or you've followed closely the haunt industry, you know who Russ McKamey is. He's a very, like I said, very well known, very controversial figure in the industry. Um, a good portion of people do not like Russ. Um, they don't like what he does. They hate what he does. What he does is, I guess, technically considered an extreme haunted house. Um, but here's my thing. Whatever people choose to engage to do is their business. Um, as long as and again, this is not has nothing to do with my opinion on the arrest record or anything like that. This is what he does in the manor in the haunt. As long as people are not forced to go in, they all willingly attempt to go through McKamey Manor. Um, I don't think he's doing anything wrong, except I 100% don't believe there's a $20,000 prize. I do not believe I don't even believe it exists. That's the thing. I've watched his videos. Well, for starters, let's do this. Let's do a little bit of history on McKamey Manor. The haunted attraction founded by Russ McKamey was founded by Russ McKamey in San Diego, and has been in operation for years and still has a cult following of loyal fans. McKamey refers to the experience as a tour, which is supposed to last 10 hours and promises a $20,000 cash prize to anyone who can withstand the full experience. Needless to say, nobody has ever made it all the way through the haunt. Um, ever. Like no one's ever done it. Each tour is tailored to the individual participating, playing upon their biggest fears and phobias. Past visitors of McKamey Manor have reported leaving with broken bones, shaved heads, extracted teeth, and of course, psychological trauma. Visitors must sign an extensive 40-page long liability waiver before participating in the experience, which essentially allows Manor volunteers to torture them however they see fit. This torture can include waterboarding, being tased, drugging, being forced to eat and drink items including vomit, restraints, and more. Now, why anybody would choose to put themselves through this is ridiculous. That's just my opinion. You might have a good reason if you want to put yourself through. You have a good reason. That's on you. I think I think it's stupid. Um, but I'm still skeptical of the broken bones and the pulled teeth. I don't think you would actually be allowed, even if you signed a waiver. I still don't think you'd legally be allowed to break someone's bones or pull their teeth. Um, So if the details of these tours haven't put you off already, you can still visit the infamous McKamey Manor. Well, now you can't. In 2017, largely due to local complaints, Russ McKamey moved his attraction from San Diego to Somerville, Tennessee. He also has a secondary tour location in Huntsville, Alabama, where he takes participants that survive long enough at the Tennessee location. There is no set fee for touring the haunt, although McKamey takes donations of dog food for his pets. Though possibly more appealing during spooky season, tours take place year round whenever someone musters up the courage to take on the challenge. To sign up, you must first join McKamey's closed Facebook group. I used to be in that group. The group is also where McKamey now shares all live footage of people during their tours. He used to share it on YouTube as well, I believe, but I don't think he does that anymore. To join the group, you must take a video of yourself explaining why you are who you are, and send it to Russ along with a photo of your driver's license. That's sketchy. You must also answer a series of questions, including what is your biggest fear, what are your top 10 favorite horror movies, and are you just a fan or do you want to take a tour? And what makes you want to be a member of the McKamey Tour Group? If you successfully joined the Facebook group, you've completed step one of the vetting process. You must also speak with Russ personally before being accepted for a tour. Then it goes into where is Russ now? We all know where Russ is now. He's in jail. I don't honestly I don't know. I don't know if he's got taken back into jail or not. So here's what I've seen. This is what I've seen in the videos that I've watched of his. Basically, what you do is you from what I've watched, you basically you contact him and say you want to go to the tour. He's supposed to do a background check on you. He says he himself basically does an interview to decide if you're okay enough to go through. So basically, you're going by his opinion, whether you're fit enough, physically fit enough, mentally fit enough, or anything to go through the manor. Um, from there, you go. They basically set a time for you to come, and you meet at his house. When you get to his house, and this is the key thing, this is where I figured this whole thing out. When you get to his house, you basically have to. They hand you the waiver. You have to read the waiver on camera, um, before you sign each page. Now, as you're reading, now what basically, again, unless you watch the videos, you don't know this. What they don't tell you is while you're reading the waiver, in between reading the waiver of each page, he's got you doing these military style drills. For starters, you're dressed in one of those big onesie footsie footy pajama type outfits. He has you bring your own. One of those ones that like Walmart sells for like $20 during the holiday season. Um, you're wearing one of those, so it's hot as hell because you're in the middle of Tennessee. You're not really in the middle, but down, I think more southern Tennessee, near Alabama. It's always hot, especially in the summer. It's fucking hot. It's fucking hot. It's fucking humid. It is miserable. So, like, he'll make you run back and forth a certain distance with a bag of dog food in your hand, but he'll be doing these military style drills. all before while you're signing the page. Now, if you get through all these military drills and the 40, and you go through the 40 pages, because in the 40 pages, it will tell you what he's going to do to you. And you get to choose like two things he can't do. So you could choose like, I don't want my teeth pulled out, or I don't want to eat nasty shit. Um, but it tells you, and so if you're still willing to go after reading all 40 pages of that, and you haven't passed out from the heat exhaustion, or you haven't given up going through all these drills, that's when you actually get to the haunt itself. And guess what? That's when your 10 hours start. Not when you're doing these drills, not when you're going reading, doing this shit while you're reading the contract. The entire purpose of reading the contract, the entire purpose of reading the contract, this is my opinion. I don't know about this, is not a fact. This is an opinion. But my opinion is the entire point of reading the contract and doing those military style drills that he makes you do before you go into McKamey Manor is simply to make you quit before you go. Because by the time the 10 hours doesn't start until you get to McKamey Manor. So everything you're doing prior has nothing to do with the tour. That's where he gets you. That's where I think he gets you. That's how he knows you're not going to make it through. You're not going to make it through 10 hours when you're already exhausted before the damn thing even starts. So yeah, basically, if you make it through the haunt, you will get $20,000. Nobody has ever made it through. I don't have. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. Who lasted the longest in McKamey Manor? Here we go. See if it'll tell me. 1 hour. The longest anyone has ever lasted in McKamey Manor is 1 hour. From what I've read and what I've seen about that, I think the average time is 8 minutes. Um, I've seen the documentaries, I've seen the videos and everything like that. They're putting you in like freezers, they're dumping water on you, and shit like that. I do apologize. My microphone isn't. My headphones aren't working still. They're still broken. I still haven't got a new pair, so I do apologize if I'm messing with them too much. Hopefully, this will be fixed by next week. But with McKamey Manor, the thing about it is, here's the thing. I don't know Russ. I've never met Russ McKamey. I can't say what kind of a person he is. But just watching his videos, watching his stuff, he's a bullshit artist. I'm not going to call him. I don't want to call him a con man, but he's definitely a bullshit artist. Um, he might be a good dude. He might be a great guy. Again, I don't know. I've never met the man. But just watching the videos he himself puts out, watching the documentaries and everything, he's a bullshitter. He's a bullshitter. So yeah, that's McKamey Manor. Like I said, he's a very controversial figure in the industry. I think last check it was 170,000 signatures to get McKamey Manor shut down. Um, but like I said, I don't. If you want to go, that again, I am 100% the kind of person who will tell you, you do what you want to do. I'm not here to tell you differently. I'll give you my opinion on the situation, but I'm not going to tell you differently or tell you how to live your life or what to do or anything like that. If you choose to go to McKamey Manor, that is on you. Just know, I believe he's full of shit. I don't believe there's a $20,000 because I don't believe there's any possible way for anyone to get through that, to get through the whole tour, or even half the people to get to the tour because of what he does during the waiver reading. Um, but the thing I think what everybody gets and what I see a lot of people complain about though with Russ is that there is no safe word. There is no you can't say I want to quit, and there's no safe word to stop it. I don't know how you stop it if that's it, but I'm telling you, apparently there is no safe word. There is no stopping. Um, It's all a moot point because with these charges against Russ, I don't know if we're ever even going to see him again. I don't know if he's because if these charges are holding true, for starters, I don't think the fact that he's been charged with rape will usually cancel somebody, flat out. Um, but if these charges stick, which it looks like they're going to stick, um, Russ might be in a little bit of trouble. We might not see Russ McKamey have to worry about him anymore. I apologize again. I apologize for my headphones right now. Hopefully by next week I can get them fixed, or at least get a microphone or something where I can um, change this and not have to mess with them so much. But moving on, we just spent like 20 minutes talking about Russ McKamey. This year's Hall of Shadows. Okay, so basically this weekend, besides being Comic Con in San Diego, and there's already a lot of shit coming out about Comic Con. I don't have it included in the news. I got the news done yesterday. I got a couple of things I think, but that's it. Um, but Midsummer Scream is also going on as we speak in California, in Los Angeles. During uh, the Midsummer Scream, I think is what it's called. They have this thing called the Hall of Shadows, um, where there's a bunch of haunted houses set up. In that, well, this year's Hall of Shadows celebrates spirits and legends with many haunts and experiences for guests to enjoy. Enter through a dilapidated excuse me, ghost town created by the team at Fear Farm, and go on to experience over a dozen spooky attractions. Lionsgate, in partnership with Plague Productions, will present Gears of Fear, explore the legacy of Lionsgate Horror. I'm sorry, inviting attendees to come face to face with the studio's greatest madmen and monsters. On their Facebook pages in partnership with John Cook and Plague Productions. This marks the first time a major motion picture studio has stepped forward to present a terrifying walkthrough attraction for the Hall of Shadows at Midsummer Scream. Prepare for terror at every turn. Take a horrifying journey through the Gears of Fear maze, a torturous, immersive experience packed with scenes from iconic Lionsgate films and fresh scares from upcoming horror releases. A twisted, bone-chilling nightmare awaits all who dare to enter. Survive the kill room of okay. Basically, that's the first haunt. There's a new haunt. The second haunt is survive the kill room of a psychopathic madman with scream warriors, an immersive audio experience from Lovecraft and Christopher Young. On July 27th and 28th, Lovecraft, spelled LVCRFT, and Christopher Young will debut their groundbreaking immersive audio experience, Scream Warriors, exclusively at the preeminent Halloween and horror convention, Midsummer Scream in Long Beach, California. Those convention goers brave enough will be treated to an approximately 10-minute long, first of its kind immersive audio experience set in complete darkness within the kill room walls of a psychopathic madman. Those lucky enough might even escape. In 2022, award-winning spooky hitmakers Lovecraft, from Hocus Pocus 2, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, 31 Nights of Halloween. I'm guessing these are movies and stuff they've made music for. Synonymous with their new Halloween classic Skeleton Sam, and legendary film composer Christopher Young from Hellraiser, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and Sinister, set out to create the most terrifying album ever made. Together, they succeed in creating Scream Warriors, a musical masterpiece that that many have called the soundtrack to a horror movie that hasn't been made yet. With this spine-tingling, goosebumps inducing album in hand, Lovecraft, Young partnered with Dolby Labs to bring the scariness to life in an unprecedented way, plunging listeners into an Atmos-powered immersive audio world like never before. This innovative journey in 2022 culminated in a one-night-only album listening experience at the Dolby Theater, set in complete darkness surrounding the audience with nightmarish soundscapes, left to battle the depths of only their imaginations. Now Lovecraft and Christopher Young have transformed their one-night-only event into an exclusive, first of its kind, immersive audio experience only at Midsummer Scream. It promises to be a heart-pounding adventure where every sense is immersed into the depths of terror in ways never heard before. That's a long-ass explanation, isn't it? But it sounds awesome, though. That was from their website, too, by the way. Moving on, another haunt that's going to be. This one's interesting, though. Another haunt that's going to be at the Midsummer Scream. Join the Mystery Incorporated crew with the Dreich Society, Scooby Doo, and the Carnival of Chills. From the website, I didn't write it down where I got this from. I think it's from the Facebook page. Scooby Doo has gone missing. Join the Mystery Inc. crew as they search for him at the newly reopened carnival at the Long Beach Pike. But be warned, some of the gang's most infamous monster and ghoul foes might be lurking inside, plotting their revenge. That just sounds fun. I mean, a Scooby Doo haunted house. Come on, who's not down with that? Uh, Another one they got going on: visit a Celtic cemetery with the haunt with no name yet. Now, with more ghosts, Eerie Night brings many things: ghosts, spirits, creatures, and mysterious occurrences to this Celtic cemetery. Visitors keep aware. You never know what might happen after sundown as darkness creeps around the tombstones and fog swirl across the damp, restless earth. That sounds like there's a bunch more stuff going on. I'm not going to go through everything because it's like 12 things. We'll be here for like half an hour, another half hour doing that. We won't get to the um, horror movie news. Um, One thing they do have is a Happy Huntings Bar. Guests 21 and older are invited to step into the Happy Huntings Bar, located within Warehouse 6, where its members are carrying out heinous acts of those on those less fortunate. Here, visitors can indulge in specialty cocktails while socializing and enjoying their own hands-on interactive entertainment at the expense of those passing through the hunting grounds next door. So that's a pretty cool bar experience. I'm trying to get through. One of the bigger announcements this week, actually. So basically, if you're in California, go check out Midsummer Scream. It sounds like an awesome time. I'll have to watch some videos because again, I'm not getting out to California anytime soon. Um, but moving on, Universal has announced a brand new show for their Halloween Horror Nights event, Nightmare Fuel Nocturnal Circus. Will show every night during the event. Step right up to a dark circus, a new nightmare that carries with it a sinister curse. Get trapped in a thrilling spectacle of pyro and aerialists to the beat of pulse-pounding rock rhythms. This is the fourth version of the Nightmare Fuel show, which premiered at Halloween Horror Nights Orlando in 2021. Halloween Horror Nights will, of course, run August 30th through November 3rd. Tickets are on sale now. Also, don't forget the $330. I think it was $329 or $350. No, I think it was $350. Night before, August 29th, for $350, you can go see it a day early and not be in the crowds and pay $350. I mean, Universal. I mean, Halloween Horror Nights I think would be awesome to go visit, but I just I can't see me doing it anytime soon. I don't like lines. I don't like lines. I don't like crowds. And that just does not seem like a fun time to me. Moving on, new fall tradition presented by MedPace is coming to the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden. I love the Cincinnati Zoo. It's actually pretty sweet. Um, Cincinnati, Ohio, Jack O' Lantern Glow. This immersive walkthrough experience will feature over 5,000 hand carved pumpkins and fall displays along a half-mile trail in the zoo. In the zoo, festive food will be available, including pumpkin spice hot chocolate, apple cider spritz, pumpkin beer. I love pumpkin beer. Pumpkin beer is so good. And caramel apples. The Jack-o'-lantern glow will take place on select dates, October 3rd through 31st. Tickets are on sale now for $25 for adults, $20 for children, with Cincinnati Zoo members, of course, receiving $3 off all general admission tickets. So yeah, I mean that sounds cool. We might have to check that out. I'd be on a Sunday. We can't go on weekends because of the haunt. Um, Also this week, this was later news because this actually just got announced yesterday. Also this week, Universal Studios Orlando and Hollywood announced that yet another haunted house for both parks during Halloween Horror Nights. Universal Monsters, the Eternal Bloodlines, get caught in an epic battle for dominance as Saskia Van Helsing and the Bride of Frankenstein go up against Dracula's daughter and her monstrous mavens, She-Wolf and Anuk-Sunamun. That sounds cool as hell. I ain't gonna lie, that does sound cool as hell. Um, but that's gonna do it for the the haunt industry news portion of our show. McKamey took up quite a bit of time on that, which I knew he would. I knew he would because I wanted to educate a lot of people on who Russ McKamey is. Um, because as I've said before, he's if you work in the haunt industry, if you follow the haunt industry very, strongly, you do know. And my headphones are falling apart again. You do know who Russ McKamey is. Most people don't like him. I don't know the guy. I can't say or not. But that was my intention, was to educate people on what McKamey Manor is and who Russ McKamey is. Um, because a lot of people aren't going to watch that documentary. Let's not kid ourselves. But moving on to horror movie news, and this is going to be like more like shopping. It's going to get you to spend some money because there's a lot of cool shit that came out this week. Um, Remember when Burger King offered up toys of the classic Universal monsters back in the 90s? Those retro kids meal toys are getting a big time modern upgrade from NECA. A NECA store exclusive, all four of the figures. Guess what, guys? I have a picture. Where is it? There it is. Check those babies out. They look awesome. Not what I wanted to do. A NECA store exclusive, all four of these figures, which faithfully recreate those Burger King toys, are housed together in the Universal Monsters Crypt Club action figure 4-pack. NECA previews unleash some terror with NECA's Crypt Club set. This spooky action figure 4-pack pays homage to the classic fast food toys with the world famous Universal Monsters. These 7-inch scale figures include horror movie icons Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, and the creature from the Black Lagoon. Dracula has a cloth cape and comes with a hinged, embossed Dracula coffin inspired by an iconic kids meal toy from the 90s, packaged in an exclusive box evoking those fast food toy displays we all know and love. You can pre-order the 4-pack for $149.99 today. They'll begin shipping in October. They will not be sold separately. So yeah, $150. That's yeah. I'd still buy them. They're all I'd still pay it. I think they're awesome. I also love NECA. NECA puts out some really sweet stuff. Um, and these look amazing. They really do. So, moving on, just 1 week and I can't believe I missed this though. Just 1 week after launching a collection of Stranger Things themed candles, Bath and Body Works is kicking off the spooky season early with their launch of their Halloween collection. I can't believe, looking through everything last week, I didn't see anything about no damn Stranger Things candles. But I'll tell you what, here they are. It's not the best picture in the world, but this is about the only one I could find that I could actually put up here. Um, yeah, there's 4 candles, and I'm gonna tell you right now, they're already on eBay. They're already way overpriced. Like the resellers have already got their hands on them and bumped them up probably about 3 times more than they're actually worth. Sorry about that. I wanted to mess with the headphones and not have you guys hear it, even though you guys are probably still hearing it. Um, we know it's summer, but Halloween is here. So here's their Bath and Body Works. Here's their set for this year. But Halloween is here. The official Bath and Body Works Instagram account posted last night. Included in this post is a short teaser video. We're not going to do that. The Halloween 2024 collection of soaps, candles, and more, which includes the following scents: new candy apple cauldron. That's the green one. Vampire blood, the red one. Ghoul friend, everlasting magic, wicked vanilla. I don't know if it's wicked vanilla woods or wicked vanilla woods, and pumpkin carving. This year's Halloween collection is already available for purchase on the Bath and Body Works website, where you'll damn this stupid headphone. Where you'll find the brand new fragrance plugs, pocket back holders, and much more. That looks pretty sweet. I mean, I don't use Bath and Body Works, but I mean, I'm pretty sure people who do will love that. Uh, so there's your shopping for the week. Buy the $150 NECA toys and go to Bath and Body Works before the resellers get there and start selling that shit online. But moving on, Grady Hendrix's 2021 New York Times bestseller, The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, is officially in the works over at HBO, a departure from his previously planned home at Amazon. Deadline, who reported the news exclusively yesterday, also reported that Hendrix is writing alongside the Righteous Gemstones duo Danny McBride and Eddie. I don't know if it's Edie or Eddie Patterson. Described as Steel Magnolias meets Dracula, the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires plot synopsis reads as follows. Housewife Patricia Campbell's life has never felt smaller. The one thing she has to look forward to is her book club, a close-knit group of Charleston women united by their love of true crime, and paperback fiction. At these meetings, there is likely to talk about the Manson family murders, as they are to discuss marriage, motherhood, and neighborhood gossip. This predictable pattern is upended when Patricia meets James Harris, a handsome stranger who moves into the neighborhood to take care of his elderly aunt and ends up joining the book club. James is sensitive and well read, and he makes Patricia feel things she hasn't felt in 20 years. But there's something off about him when local children go missing. Patricia and the book club members start to suspect James is more of a Bundy than a beatnik. But no one outside of the book club believes them. Have they read too many true crime books, or have they invited a monster into their homes? Deadline reminds that the project was previously in development at Amazon with Patrick Moran's PKM Productions, but has now moved to the Warner Brothers Discovery Premium Network without Moran's McBride and Hendricks. McBride and Patterson will also executive produce alongside Brandon James for McBride's Rough House Pictures. The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires publisher Quirk Books will also have an exclusive executive producer credit according to Deadline. The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires marks the latest Hendrix novel to be optioned for the screen, whether small or big, following My Best Friend's Exorcism, How to Sell a Haunted House, and the Final Girl Support Group. Hendrix also wrote the screenplay for 2019's Satanic Panic. So there you go. I mean, that sounds interesting. I mean, I like Steel Magnolias. I love vampire movies, so we'll see how that goes. Um, it's a series, so I mean, I'll probably be watching it with the wife. But moving on, Relativity Media has acquired Warren Skeels' true crime thriller The Man in the White Van for a wide theatrical release on October 11th from Garrison Film and the fan-owned entertainment company Legion M. We can exclusively reveal the brand new ominous poster for the film. I do not have the poster. I'm sorry, guys. Based on a series of true crimes that shook the nation in the 1970s, the film captures a bone chilling story of a young girl's unimaginable horrors. and every parent's worst nightmare. The very events at the heart of this film forever cemented unmarked cargo vans as an iconic vessel of terror for young people everywhere, echoing warnings across the decades to stay away from the archetype of the man in the white van. Guys, there's a reason in the haunted house. If you ever watch my old haunted house videos, I make the joke about how people trust a random stranger when they say, "Come and follow me into a dark room." Might as well have a free van, a white van outside that says free candy. Oh, there you go. Starring Sean Astin, from the Lord of the Rings trilogy and Stranger Things, Ali Larder from ABC's The Rookie and Final Destination, Madison Wolfe from The Conjuring 2, Brett Basinger from CW Stargirl, Gavin Warren from Night Swim, and Sky Johnson from Jessie. The Man in the White Van delves into the harrowing experiences of Annie Williams, Madison Wolfe, a spirited family girl whose carefree existence is turned upside down as she finds herself stalked by an ominous man in a white van. Prone to exaggeration, her parents' disbelief in her tales of being followed leads to a terrifying Halloween nightmare. I'm thrilled to partner with relative. I'm thrilled to partner with Relativity Media. I'm going to say that right one time to bring this important story to the screen," said writer director Warren Skeels previously. "I love this cast and crew. Together, we have taken a great care to ensure that this narrative is told with respect for those who experience these horrific events firsthand. Our aim is to shine a light on a dark time in the 1970s and the extraordinary stage of one girl's unimaginable ordeal with a serial killer." Sean Astin, Madison Wolfe, Brett Basinger, Sky Jackson, Gavin Warren, and filmmaker Warren Skeels will head to San Diego Comic Con tomorrow, Saturday, July 27th, from 4:15 to 5:15 at the Hilton Bayfront Indigo Ballroom for a first look panel. That just sounds fun. That really does. That sounds like a decent movie. It sounds like a creepy ass movie too. That's the thing. When I was growing up, I wasn't really scared of monsters. I was scared of people breaking into the house and stuff like that. I watched a lot of unsolved mysteries growing up, though, so that could be the reason I was scared of that, not monsters. But moving on, this year marks the 50th anniversary of Toby Hooper's horror classic Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Dark Sky Films continues their year-long celebration by bringing an appropriately themed barbecue food truck to San Diego Comic Con this year. Dark Sky Films continues a series of year-long fan events by partnering with local barbecue food truck operator Up in Smoke to create an official pop-up homage to the film's iconic We Slaughter Barbecue roadside store at this year's San Diego Comic Con, the world's largest pulp culture event in the United States. The food truck will be located in Comic Con's Petco Park Interactive Zone, a no badge required event area across from the San Diego Convention Center, offering a bespoke menu of Texas Chainsaw Massacre victim inspired offerings. Each food purchased will come with a San Diego Comic Con exclusive collectible button. Limited quantities available, of course. Event details: the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 50th anniversary food truck. So basically, what are they gonna? It's repeating everything I already just said. So what's the menu? How about pick your meats? Kirk, brisket; Jerry, pork; Pam, chicken; Sally, impossible meatballs / vegetarian. Entree options: Slaughterhouse Sammy's, your choice of meat served on a French roll with our homemade coleslaw, and served with a side of house seasoned potato chips. Slaughterhouse Sliders, your choice of meat on one or two slider rolls with our homemade slaw served, basically the same thing. Slaughterhouse Salad, fresh mixed greens topped with one of our meats, and our homemade coleslaw served with a side of house seasoned potato chips. All beef Franklin, a quarter-pound all beef hot dog as served as side of house seasoned potato chips. Leatherface's stack o' meat, our house seasoned potato chips topped with all three of our meats, shredded cheddar cheese, salsa, black beans, and chosen with our homemade ranch dressing. That just sounds amazing. Also serving Grandpa's smoked chips, the cook's secret baked beans, Hitchhiker ice cold drinks. This sounds awesome. This sounds awesome. I wish I could be there to try something. I'm a fat guy, so I like food, and I am ready. I am down for some food. But moving on, I guess there's been talk of Blumhouse's planned Spawn movie for many years now, and each new update on the project tends to be more like a non-update. But just days before San Diego Comic-Con gets underway, Jason Blum and Todd McFarlane have taken to social media to share an image that seems to suggest the movie is finally getting off the ground. I'm not going to read this story anymore because another story came out today that it's pretty much gone. They're pretty much doing it. Basically, in King Spawn, when one of the vilest creatures ever imprisoned in hell is released back onto Earth, Spawn follows the clues right into a trap set just for him. But why does Kincaid want Spawn to ascend the throne of hell, and what of the prophecy of the King Spawn? It's been a long, hard road out of development hell with this brand new Spawn feature, which Todd McFarlane had originally planned to direct. Jamie Foxx had been attached to play the title character at one point, but we have no idea if that's still the plan. Stay tuned. So yeah, King Spawn. They're gonna open it. I just saw a story about it today. That's why I'm not gonna read it. I'll read it later on. But it kind of seems like it's official. They're probably just gonna announce it this weekend at Comic-Con, which is where a lot of announcements will be made. But moving on to video games, Planet 47 Games has answered the question for many video gamers. Why isn't there a game that allows me to play as Bigfoot? Well, that answer is coming in 2025 with Bigfoot Life, an open world sim on Steam that has you stepping into the feet of the elusive cryptid as you live your life in the forest. The story is, well, pretty obvious. You are Bigfoot and you live in the forest. Seeing as this is a survival sim, besides exploring, you catch and eat fish, insects, and other animals, as well as forage for mushrooms, berries, and more. You'll also be building shelters to store your items in to get through the game's dynamic weather system. From the sounds of the Steam description, there will be a point system in Bigfoot Life. You'll earn extra points by breaking branches and scaring the wildlife. Of course, seeing as you're Bigfoot, you'll have to deal with humans who are keen on exposing you. Bigfoot hunters will be trying to find you and photograph you throughout the game. Luckily, you can steal their items to earn points and prevent them from revealing your secret. That's going right in my mouth. The ultimate goal, besides survival, is to level up and eventually find and attract a mate for Bigfoot. No word on if there will be a demo available. So, again, sounds fun. It really does. But moving on, let me go back to it. I'm going to the website because there was a few more stories that dropped today. There's a new Chucky popcorn bucket coming to Halloween Horror Nights this year that looks pretty sweet. Go to Bloody Disgusting, you can see a picture of it. Trick or Treat is getting a new 4K restoration from Arrow Video this year. King Spawn hunt begins for a director for Blumhouse's dark and gritty movie. So see, there is a movie planned. It's coming out. But guys, I'll tell you what, we've been going for 50 minutes now. Let's go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, go get your blanket, go get some Christmas cookies. When you come back, we are going to go enter into the deep dive of The Killing Tree. See you in a minute.
Greetings and shabibans. We are the Retro Redoctopus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Yeah, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite seems trying to say is that on Retro Redoctopus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh.
And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Your King Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brig.
You can listen to Retro Redoctopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
Hello and welcome back to the Bloody Binge Movie Podcast. I hope everybody is having a great time. I hope everybody's enjoyed the first half of this. But now it's time to move into the whole reason we're here. It is time to celebrate Christmas in July. So put up your tree, light up the lights, bake some cookies. Go bake some cookies. Take a minute, pause the video real quick. Pause it, go bake some cookies. Come on back and get ready. Cuddle up near the tree. Put a blanket on. Cuddle near the fireplace. Get some eggnog. And let's go ahead and dive into The Killing Tree. The Killing Tree, I'll save my, my opinions on it until later. Because, oh boy. The Killing Tree was put out, it came out in 2022. It was directed by Rhys Frake-Waterfield. If that name sounds familiar to you, it is because Rhys Waterfield is also the man known who who produced and directed Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. This looks like his third movie that he directed. And only his second feature-length film. Now, Blood and Honey, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, the first one was I didn't care for it too much. The second one I haven't seen yet. But they both, there's not really much, I don't remember too much CGI in the first one. More practical effects, which I prefer practical effects than CGI. Other movies he's directed is Fire NATO, Sky Monster. And it's a very young career. He's only put out 7 movies. The movie stars Sarah Alexandra Marks. You may have seen her. Let's see what she's been in before. She's been on an episode of Doctor Who, The Witch, Witch. Midnight Hour. Nothing really major stands out. Mostly horror movies, low budget stuff. But Sarah Alexandra Marks. Let me get back. What the hell did this stupid thing just do? Sorry. Sorry guys. Give me a second. IMDb is kind of being silly on me right now. Shut up. Stupid phone. So Sarah Alexandra Marks plays Faith. Marcus Macy plays Clayton, the killer tree. Um, Marcus has been, I guess he was in, he plays Owl in Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. Um, Also in Dinosaur Hotel, Hotel 3, Shockwaves 2, Three Blind Mice. Just, again, a bunch of lower budget horror movies. Not a bad thing, but he plays Clayton the tree. Uh, Judy Cherniak plays Morrigan, Clayton's wife. Uh, Again, nothing too major from looking at her. She's been in very few movies. The Evil Fairy Queen, The Last Goodbye, The Killing Tree, H.P. Lovecraft's Monster Portals, The Surgeon, a few others. Kelly Rianne Sanson as Becky. Not a big role in the film, but she's here. She's in that new Cinderella's Curse. Um, who is directing? This Breezewater guy isn't doing directing that too, is he? She actually plays Cinderella in Cinderella's Curse. The Bad Nun 3, Pterodactyl, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 as a party guest, Easter Bunny Massacre. So again, a lot of lower budget movies. Sarah T. Cohen as Cindy. Cindy, 43. She's going to be in Cinderella's Curse. Again, a lot of lower budget horror movies. What seems to be the story with this group? But let's go ahead and dive into this movie. The Killing Tree. You can find this, by the way, if you guys want to watch it after listening to this. You can find it, of course, on Tubi for free. Just when I went and picked this movie out, I looked up Christmas horror, and a ton of Christmas horror comes up. I'm going to start off by saying I love Christmas horror movies. I really do. Even last year, I did. Was the first time I have ever worked a Christmas themed haunt. Was last year at the dungeon, and I had a fucking blast being an elf. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to doing it again this year. But going into the movie, I should have picked a different one. There were better movies out there, I think. Because it was basically between this and Werewolf Santa, and I chose this because the preview looked good. But you'll see. I've got a lot to say about this. Volume warning because I might yell a lot. But the movie opens on a dark, stormy night, and we see the front. Basically, we see the front of an old castle. Before we cut inside to an old woman sitting by a fireplace. The woman is talking to an altar she built inside the fireplace to her dead husband. There's no fire lit. It's just literally the altar is in the fireplace. And inside the altar, you can see a bunch of news articles and that. She says they accomplished a lot together. Their life's work, the Lord's work. Their message spread as he imagined. Nobody, nobody knew her like he did, and no one could understand their vision. She is proud of what they did that night, how they made them pay, made them all suffer for their insolent opulence and disrespect for the true Christmas traditions. But what did they do to you? How they took you from me. So it's safe to say he got arrested that night, and basically, we focus in on an article saying that he was executed. So looks like the dead husband was executed for murder. Um, she continues basically, you were pulled away from this world far too early. What a wretched world this has become. And then we then cut to her holding what is supposed to, it looks like it's supposed to be an urn. Like his ashes are obviously inside, but it looks more like one of your grandma's old pot with like a bunch of flowers and like apples on it. Something you would bake like casseroles in or something like that. It looks, yeah, it doesn't, it's not an urn. It's not, definitely not an urn. Um, but my love, we are not finished yet. We cannot rest until our work is complete. There is still more to be done in such a short amount of time. and only we can fulfill that duty together. Greed, wealth, ungiving. You were right about every one of them, riddled with sin. We finally see the old woman stands up, and we finally get a good look at her. She doesn't look that old, honestly. But as she stands up and stares long at one particular picture, we don't get to see the picture, but she's looking at one. But that one will pay for what she did to you. A clock chimes in the background, and a mysterious wind all of a sudden blows through the house. So this chick apparently has the windows open. It's Christmas time, and she's got the windows open. It's December in England. It's not warm outside. Close your fucking windows. Um, the old woman says tonight is the night we fix this, and tonight is the night she brings him back. She gives a pretty weak maniacal laugh as the thunder hits. Um, like it's literally like ha 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 ha. Oh, Christmas Tree plays as the old woman is pulling out a Christmas tree. Now, this is a fake Christmas tree, guys. Keep that in mind. It is a fake artificial Christmas tree in a box that we would put up and take down every single year. She says it's a lot heavier than she remembers and drops. She ends up dropping the box. She says the hour approaches, Clayton, and to hold on a little longer wherever he is. The clock chimes again as she starts lighting candles around the tree, and it's almost midnight. She's drawn a pentagram with salt on the floor and lays the tree down inside it. Not standing it up, but it's laid down. Um, she then opens an old book with it's got a lot of like satanic like writing on it and that. She grabs some of Clayton ashes and spreads them on the prone tree. She starts an incantation of a language that I can't tell you what she was saying. It was like a foreign. It was like a demonic language, I guess you would say. And she basically goes, "Arise, arise!" in a very like much less underwhelming way than that. Um, or a much more underwhelming way than that. And nothing happens. She goes through the book saying this can't be right and that spell was correct. And she continues going through the book, and then the thunder rolls. All of a sudden, we hear the tree rustle a little bit, and then we're like basically kind of like from the point of the tree, we rise and look down, which the tree didn't look that big, by the way. Tree didn't look that big. Looks down and basically its own voice says, "Morrigan." She gets excited as the spell has worked, but not the way she anticipated. The tree asks, "What is this?" and why his voice sounds different and why he feels strange. She's like, "I don't know. The spell shouldn't have finished just yet." The tree walks over to a mirror and looks in and realizes that he's a fucking Christmas tree. Clayton screams, like basically the tree goes, "What the fuck?" It even does the like the jolt back, like, huh? And like it was doing the double take, which I thought was awesome. I thought it was great. That was funny as hell. The tree turns to look at Morrigan, who says it's in the scripture, something of similar mass. She thought it was just to start it. She didn't realize Clayton would end up being, and he literally yells, "A fucking tree!" The tree then straight up bitch slaps Morrigan. Bitch slaps her straight to the ground. He gets solemn and goes, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, he apologizes. The tree starts apologizing and he starts crying, and then I just now realized that he didn't just bitch slap her, he slit her throat when he did it. So somehow this artificial Christmas tree now has like razor sharp branches. Um, but he ended up slitting his wife's throat. He says it's just this new body, and he tries to comfort her, but she pushes the branch away. Morrigan dies. The tree doesn't mourn, doesn't do anything. He just walks over to the same pictures that Morrigan was looking at and stares at them and goes, "It's you. You caused this. It's all your fault. And I'm gonna make her pay for what she's done to them." Done to who? I guess him and his wife, I think is what he's meant. We go to the outside of the castle. And I wrote down I didn't realize that serial killers could afford castles. And the tree basically breaks out. It's a CGI animated tree. It breaks out of the top window of the tower. Um, and basically, this motherfucker has arms and legs. It looks goofy, but it looks awesome at the same time. Which it looks ridiculously great. That's probably the best way to put it down. He asks how he's gonna get down, and then he starts just jumping down, like from ledge to ledge. Finally hits the ground and says, "Nothing can stop me," and scurries away. Roll the beginning credits. That is a hell of a scene to start the movie out. It was fun. It was informative. You got a background on the killers, um, and it was entertaining. Hold that thought. So we roll the beginning credits real quick. Not long credits. But we cut to a woman. She's in a Santa dress. She's sitting on a bed, staring at a picture of what we could assume were her parents. Another woman in a gold dress walks in and tries to comfort her. Um, it's a while, but we finally learn their names are Faith, who is in the Christmassy dress. She's the girl that the tree was looking at in the photo. And then we have Cindy in the gold dress. Um, so Cindy walks in, tries to comfort her, and they have a conversation going back and forth. During conversation, we learn that Clayton killed Faith's parent, and she says, she's glad that they killed him after what he did to her parents. We then get a cut to a flashback of last Christmas, and it shows the couple from earlier, Clayton and Morrigan, the killer, basically your killers, um, and they're approaching another castle. And this one, basically, to make you sure you know that it's Christmas time, it's got some icicle lights and there's like a blow up Santa out front. Really cheap decorations for somebody who owns a castle. Just enough to show, basically, like I said, just enough to show it's Christmas. Morrigan asks what these ones did. And Clayton says, same as the others, rich, greedy, and ungiving. So apparently, being rich is a sin to these people, and that's why they're going to kill him. Clayton has a knife as they approach the castle. They start basically cuts inside. They start sneaking around. We see the silhouettes of both Clayton and Morgan as they sneak around the castle. Clayton has a very Jim Jones look for him. He's got like the necklaces, the hair. Almost a lot of the hair looks like Jim Jones. And the sunglasses inside at night. I will make fun of anyone who wears sunglasses indoors and at night. I will make fun of you. I've done it in haunted houses for years, and I will keep doing it. Pardon me as I grab this sip of drink real quick. Um, he says he's going to enjoy this as we see Clayton. Basically, Clayton jumps and stabs at the floor. I assume he's supposed to be stabbing the bodies or the parents. We don't get to see anything. It's just him stabbing down on the other side of the bed. Because for some reason we couldn't just pay somebody to lay there and pretend being stabbed. Uh, we cut back basically to modern times, to current Christmas, and the woman from earlier, and basically Faith, as Cindy gets a text. Faith asks her if she's still doing that, and it turns out, um, I wrote down that Cindy's a prostitute, but I don't think she's a prostitute. I think she's an OnlyFans model, but she makes like £2,000 per night. And she doesn't get why people are so uptight because it's just sex. They haven't said whether she has sex with these people or not, which would make her the prostitute, I guess. But for now, we're just gonna assume that she's an OnlyFans style model. Um, but she doesn't get why people are so uptight because it's just sex. Everyone does it. Cindy tells Faith that she should do it as well. Faith pretty much says hell no, and we go back to Faith being upset and Cindy trying to cheer her up. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't write much down about this scene. It is a very boring, long, drawn out scene. I know it's meant to build the characters up of Cindy and Faith, but there's got to be a better way because this was very fucking boring. and it took a long time. At least it felt like it took a long time. We learned that there is a party going on downstairs. We can't hear it. There's no signs of a party, but there is a party going on downstairs. Cindy tells Faith uh, that the papers are signed. Faith is selling the house and doesn't understand, and Cindy doesn't understand why she's staying there after what happened last year. Cindy says selling the castle is a good thing because maybe now she can go to college, get a boyfriend, and develop some taste. Faith tells her that her memories are in her. I'm sorry. Cindy tells Faith that her memories are in her mind, not in the walls. Cindy also tells Faith to bring her ass downstairs to her own party, and that later on there's some special eggnog in the fridge. Hint, hint. We don't get to see the special eggnog. She won't, and she won't tell Faith what is in it. Again, very boring scene. It took a long time to get through that. It's character building, but it was still extremely boring. We cut outside where the tree is now standing in a field reading a fucking map. Yes, the tree is holding a map and it's reading it trying to find Cindy's house or not Cindy's, Faith's house because he doesn't remember where Faith lives. But apparently he remembers the address or the location looking at the map. Doesn't make any sense. It's still funny as hell to see a Christmas tree standing in a field holding a map. The Christmas tree says he can't believe he's already lost. He says, Morrigan, I wish you were still here, and that he's so crap at this. We now basically do another. This is another flashback as we cut to a snowy window and we're peering inside as Morrigan and Clayton are sitting at a table looking at Christmas decorations. It's almost like they're looking at bric-a-brac. He says he remembers each one, but not a single one celebrating the true meaning of Christmas. He asks what's going on with the world, and she grabs his hand and says, "Obsession, my love. Everyone obsessed with gifts and material possessions." She asks Clayton if he's questioning what they've done, and he says, "Nah, fuck that. I don't not nonsense. If people don't value their family, then they don't deserve to be in one." Morgan asks what's going on then, and Clayton tells her their message isn't being spread, and nobody is paying attention to us. They need to strike fear and become a symbol. And I just waiting for him to go. And here's this glass. Here's this glass of Flavor Aid. You should drink this. Nothing weird in it. It's grape. Spread a message. He says this Christmas will be their best Christmas yet. 12 families in a single night. Their message will go global. Morgan says, "Whatever you say, my love." But she says it like very excited. It's like, yeah, whatever. Not like whatever you say, whatever. But it's like she's excited to say what he's saying. Clayton says they will give the world a night to remember, and the flashback ends. We cut back to the tree and the map, and there's a guy stumbling around behind him, and he asks the tree if he has any money. Clayton just goes, for fuck's sake, I ain't got time for this. I don't have time for this. The man who's now we basically can see is obviously drunk at this point says, "Oi, I'm talking to you," and then realize he's talking to a fucking tree holding a map. The drunk guy goes to grab the map, and the tree tells him to get his hands off of that. The guy says, "Well, what like basically does the British version of what are you gonna do? What you gonna do about it? You want to fight? You want to fight?" Basically, the guy goes, "What do you think? You can take me?" And he squares him, "Come on, then, come on." And he punches the fucking tree. Clayton gets pissed because it basically rips the map, and some vines come out of him and just start stabbing and strangling the man. The tree goes, "I've never been able to do that before. Maybe this new body isn't so bad after all." His lights, he does have Christmas lights. He has tinsel. He has Christmas garland, everything on him. Everything you would put on a regular Christmas tree is on this tree. He walks off saying he's coming for you. "I'm coming for you, Faith." We get yet another flashback where Clayton asks Morgan if she's ready. They're standing outside of a castle. She says she is, and Clayton tells her that he's got the naughty list. She asks which one first, the Goodwills? He tells her last. He says, "Let's show the world what's important." Now we cut back to the party, and Faith and Cindy are walking down the stairs, and there's an older couple down there, um, who basically she ends up saying, "You guys are like my parents. I'm gonna miss you guys." Da 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 da. They're leaving and tell her if there's anything heavy to move that, you know, leave it to Cindy. Faith asks why they're leaving so early. The wife says it's getting late and they have Rupert at home. She tells Faith that basically they made it clear that they love their parents and they helped raise her, I guess, they helped comfort her for the past year that her parents have been dead. She hugs them goodbye and they leave. Cindy asks how her parents know them again, and I guess her dad used to go fishing with the husband. Cindy tells Faith they need to liven the mood, get drunk, all that stuff. Faith tells her she was going to have one drink. She will have one drink. Faith is kind of a party pooper at this point. I mean, your parents, yeah, the parents are died. It's been a year. Come on, have some fun. We now cut to two random blondes, and we find out these aren't right now. They're random blondes. I didn't see a point to this scene, but they put it anyway. We have plaid dress, who is Tina. She's laying down drunk, and apparently Tina did something and says whoever told her girlfriend. Basically, Tina and Louise. They're a lesbian couple. Um, Tina's done something, and she tells Louise whoever told her about it, what she did or did. They're just jealous of them. Um, Again, the whole conversation going back and forth is about Louise. Tina is more than likely cheating on Louise or did something um, to Louise and got tattled on by Louise's friends. Tina is accusing Louise of always taking her friend's side and not hers. And Louise tries to explain to her that, "Oh, I've known my friends for like 5 years. We've been dating for 3 months. Calm the fuck down." But it does sound like Tina's cheated on her. Again, a very boring, pointless scene. I think it's supposed to be building background on Louise and Tina, who end up they kind of being like minor characters. We really didn't need um, that. We didn't need build up on that. It almost seems like some of these build up, character building scenes um, are there for filler because they take so fucking long, and I just don't see a point in them. Um, we cut back to Faith, who's finally coming to what seems like a very boring party. There's no music. There's no, everybody's just standing around chatting and stuff like that. It doesn't really seem like a party outside, or maybe a cocktail party or something. Um, Not a party that young people should be having. Let's put it that way. Cindy gives Faith shit because Faith is drinking. Basically, she's drinking a glass of wine out of a regular wine glass. Cindy hands her this giant, comically huge wine glass that pretty much holds almost an entire bottle. The glass is like bigger than the women's faces. And she tells her she promised her one drink, but she never said how big. Basically, Cindy is a bully and uses peer pressure to her advantage because holy shit. Um, Peer pressure sucks as Faith drinks out of the extra large wine glass. We cut to just a random redhead and a guy in the middle of the party. The guy says he didn't realize Faith's parents were murdered. The redhead said not just murdered, but killed in this very house. Well, no, there's nothing extra. They were murdered. There's nothing extra to it. She tells him that they could be sitting in the exact spot that the parents took their final breaths. We go to another flashback, and this time Clayton and Morgan are sneaking through the house. They cut to a young girl. It's been a year, and this girl looks completely different, completely younger than the current Faith. Um, she finds her father's dead body. Clayton and Morgan walk out, and Clayton gets excited because they found another one. And she runs off, and Clayton goes chasing her. That's the scene. We cut back to the party where the redhead and the guy keep talking about Faith's family being murdered. Redhead says Faith escaped and got Clayton convicted and executed. She says they say if it wasn't for Faith, they would have never caught him. Redhead says she only got the guy caught, but not the wife. They said the wife said she didn't know anything about any of it. Um, the redhead, we never learned this girl's name, by the way. But Redhead says she thinks that's why she's selling the house. She tells the guy shush because Faith is coming over. I think Faith just looked over at him. I think that's all it really was. I don't. She didn't really stand up. Redhead basically asks Paul, the guy, we got the guy's name, but not her name, if they could just leave because she can't deal with Faith's negative attitude, which we really haven't seen a negative attitude. We've seen a bumming attitude, like she's a bummer, she's a party pooper, like she's Debbie Downer. Uh, Paul asks her where they should go because he kind of still wants to stay and party. Redhead tells him, well, there's a pool outside in December in England. Is anybody going swimming in the middle of fucking winter in England? Are they? And basically she asks him if he wants to see her do a cannonball, and they get up and head outside because he's gonna get laid. We cut back to the tree walking around, and he can't believe that he lost the map. In the distance, you see a car driving up a driveway. He sees it and tells himself to play cool, and he basically just like plants himself in the middle of the road, as if he's like just a real tree. And then we see it's the older couple that just left the party. And they're basically like, oh, why is there a tree in the middle of the road? The wife asks if if the husband thinks one of Faith's friends left it there earlier. The tree is like, what, did she just say Faith? The husband gets out of the car to move the tree, and the wife asks him to come back because something doesn't feel right. He turns to tell the wife to hold on, and the vines come out of the tree and basically start stabbing the shit out of the husband. The wife screams and is in the car, still in the car. She screams and everything. Doesn't see that there's a strand of Christmas lights sneaking their way into the car. They wrap around her neck and strangle her to the seat. And now the couple from earlier are now dead. Cheesy kills, but it is what it is for being a killer Christmas tree. You kind of gotta expect it. Didn't mind these kills, but hold on. Don't worry, it's coming. We go back inside where Faith is drinking even more of the wine. She's drunk like half of this fucking glass already. White dress, who is Louise from earlier. We find out she is one of Faith's friends. Faith asks her if she's okay. She says her and Tina got into another fight. That Tina gets so defensive and is always hiding her phone. That's red flag. Red flag. Other new friend who ends up being Becky tells her what she saw, and that she needs to get rid of Tina. Basically, it's the girls. The girls are trying to, outside of Faith, Becky and Cindy are trying to convince Louise to dump Tina because Tina's a piece of shit, according to them. Cindy says she can smell a dickhead from a mile away, and that Tina is a dickhead. Cindy gets a text, and it's basically one of her clients, I guess, or somebody. She answers a FaceTime video, and she tells the girls to be quiet. She's like, "Hey, baby, how are you?" Doing that fake shit. He asks what she's doing, and she says she's out with the girls. He's like, "Oh, that's cool. Take your fucking dress off." And she pretends. She's like, "Oh no, you're breaking up." Oh no, and hangs up on it. Kind of brazen. Cindy jokes that Faith is going to start doing whatever she's doing as well. And basically, Cindy keeps applying pressure and she again pushes Faith to drink some more. Basically, Becky Mara, Cindy makes it obvious that she's only joking. Faith ain't going to do that shit. They go back to telling Louise that how big of a piece of shit Tina is. Basically how bad her choices in women are. And Louise decides to get up and leave to find out where Tina has gone. These are not good friends, okay? These are not good. These are terrible, terrible people. These are not good friends. Like, hey, look, you should really dump that piece of shit. Well, I really like her. I don't care. She's a piece of shit. Fuck. So Becky tells the other two that she's got something to show them later. Becky gets up and leaves, and now Faith and Cindy are basically sitting in the room alone with the other, party members. We cut back to the outside where the tree is now getting inside the car from the couple from earlier. We can see the Christmas lights through the windows as it pans above. The tree starts driving the car. Or starts the car and is driving it now, basically back up to the house, and it actually looks really cool. It really does. It looks cool. We cut back inside where Faith basically starts to leave the party. She walks out of the room that the party's being held in, and Becky's coming downstairs, and she's dressed as a Christmas cracker. For those who don't know, in England they do these things, the Christmas crackers, where I think they grab each and they pull it, and it's supposed to fall apart, and whoever has like the bigger piece, almost like the wishbone, whatever has the bigger piece gets the prize in the middle. It's something. It's like a British tradition. But that's what she's dressed as. She says she has something exciting to tell Faith and asks if she wants to go for a walk, so she can tell her. Faith's like, why do we gotta go outside? It's fucking cold. She didn't say it's fucking cold, but I'm pretty sure that's what she's thinking. And she really doesn't fancy a walk. Becky basically begs her and tells her she looks like she needs some fresh air, and they haven't really had any alone time in a while. So Faith basically gets peer pressured again into going for a walk that she doesn't want to go on. And being bullied must suck when you're an adult. That is just ridiculous. So cuts outside on the walk. Faith is complaining she's tired of seeing real estate agents and lawyers and everything like that. Becky says she wants to apologize to Faith because she hasn't been able to be a good friend for the past year, going to school and everything. Apparently, I guess her boyfriend got committed during exams because he couldn't handle the stress. Absolutely irrelevant to the story, but whatever. Um, it's just another very boring scene. I guess they're trying to give some character development to Becky. That's absolutely not unnecessary. It is unnecessary for this character development. We're still doing character development. And we're pretty much about 2/3 of the way through the movie. So we cut again now to Paul and the redhead, and they're just now getting to the pool. And for a Christmas movie, this is what I realized. For a Christmas, there is no snow on the ground. It's not snowing. We're not seeing anyone's breath like you would if it was cold outside, and there's just no signs of it being cold. Paul then chooses this minute to basically, as I say this, Paul chooses this minute to go, and it's freezing out here. You go, fuck you, Paul. Fuck you. You did that to make me look bad. I know you did. Redhead kisses Paul, and basically they start making out. We cut back over to Becky and Faith, and they're walking around. They end up at the tennis courts, and Becky wants to play a game. I guess this is a game they've played a lot growing up in that. And she ends up blindfolding Faith. She hands Faith a tennis racket and takes one herself. We then cut back to Paul and the redhead as they start making out. Redhead is now out of most of her clothes as they're pretty much both in their underwear. It kind of seems like they went swimming because they're both like wet, like their hair's wet, but there's no evidence at all that they jumped in the water. I would assume they didn't because it's cold as shit outside, but what do I know? Next thing you know, we see a set of Christmas lights slowly sinking into the pool, and now I have to ask myself if the tree is able to be electrocuted as the already lit up lights enter the water. And when the already lit up lights enter the water, what happens? That's what happens when electricity enters water. But apparently not over the lights on this Christmas tree. Because they basically go under the water, come out, and they basically wrap around the redhead's ankle, not electrocuting her, nothing. Well, she notices, she stands up soaking wet and looks around and is like, what the heck? The tree lights itself up and stands up laughing. It's been beside him the entire time. She stands up and like puts her face over her eyes because it's a bright light. Um, she trips. Paul runs away, but the tree basically rolls some ornaments at him, and I'm talking not like solid ornaments. I'm talking like those round balls of that fake ass glass that hurts worse than real glass if it actually gets into your skin. That you go to Walmart and you pay like $5 for. Those kind of ornaments. This bitch tripped. This dude trips on one. He trips on one, does the whole banana fall, like when you slip on a banana peel, you fall backwards. And apparently he's out cold from this. We cut to the tree's vine, to the tree. He's got his vines and he's drowning someone. Um, I wrote down that we have to assume it's the redhead since we never saw what happened to her. It's not the redhead. It's actually Paul. Um, it is a cool visual, but again, it's CGI, so it kind of looks silly at the same time. We have no idea what's fucking happening. He's like just the tree's going, pushing him down. He's going, hey, you want to come? Hey, you want to come out? You want to come out? Yeah, no, you're going back in, and just talking shit and stuff like that. Calls him a bitch, and then he lifts Paul up into the air and just rips him in fucking half in all of its CGI glory. Paul is now dead. Why couldn't that be a practical effect? Like, it's been done thousands of times in movies where people have been ripped in half. Why can't we do a practical effect? Why the fuck do we need to see someone get ripped in half in CGI? Come on. The redhead screams as she basically runs away and locks herself in the pool house. The redhead's not a good actor, by the way. She's terrible. The tree basically tries getting. He's starting to go. I'm going to get you. Come on, open the door. Open the door. I'm going to get you. She screams, and she's got a very raspy scream. She screams for help. The vines basically are like, oh wait, this is glass. I can just break these fucking windows. And starts breaking the glass in the window. We only see it from the outside POV and like from very far away. We don't really get to see what's happening, but we can just basically assume that she got stabbed to death by the violence. We now cut back over to the tennis courts as Becky starts hitting balls at a blindfolded Faith. The Faith misses the first one as it hits her right in the crotch. But the second one she ends up hitting. And I guess the game they're playing is if Faith hits a ball that's been hit to her blindfolded, Becky gives her a hint. So Becky says her first clue and then nothing. Apparently this is enough because Faith takes her blindfold off to see the tree lifting Becky high into the air and ripping her in half as a Christmas cracker. Needed a sip of drink there. He rips her in half as like she's a Christmas cracker because she's dressed like a Christmas cracker still. The tree is much larger now all of a sudden too. Like it's towering over the house, which is weird because it's not a growing tree; it's a plastic tree, which also doesn't make sense with the vines. The tree rips Becky in half, killing her. Faith goes running as the vines start chasing her. She runs into the house and into Cindy, telling her something is out there, panicking and everything, saying, he's back, he's back. Cindy's like, well, who's back? Faith tells her that Clay Slater is back. And how in the holy hell could she possibly know that this was who the fucking tree is? How could she know who Clay Slater is? That the evil tree is fucking Clay Slater, the guy that killed her family last year. What possible thing could have ever made her think Clayton was back? Like, even at the beginning, he said his voice was different. He asked his wife, he goes, hey, something's different about me. I don't think why does my voice sound weird? Plus it's a freaking tree. This makes absolutely no sense that she knows it's Clay Slater. Faith tells Cindy that Clay is controlling some sort of Christmas tree. They all try to calm her down, telling her it isn't possible. Calm down. You're having a traumatic experience. This is your first time back in the house that your parents were murdered in, blah, blah, blah. The party guests start to leave as they think she's basically having a mental breakdown. She's like, no, you can't leave. There's a fucking killer Christmas tree outside. And they're like, pshaw, whatever. We cut outside where basically all the guests are leaving, are all basically leaving the party to go home. And the tree comes around the corner, and everybody sees it, and they're like, what the fuck? The vines stretch out, and everyone basically scatters. Um, the vines literally start taking everybody out. Cindy says, what the fuck is that? Not screaming because all her friends are all being murdered by a walking Christmas tree right in front of her, but she's like, what the fuck? One friend finally makes it to his car. Everybody else has gotten like murdered, ripped in half, all that good stuff. And tries to leave, but the tree's vine goes right through the car roof and just like starts stabbing him. Again, from far away, we don't get to see the kill. Tina finally shows back up as Louise asks, like, where the fuck have you been? And Tina says she's been in the toilet for 2 hours. And guess what? Tina's not drunk anymore. Tina suggests that she and Louise run out the back and over the fence before the tree notices them, which could be a smart idea. The power gets cut to the house, and Faith says they should go and hide, and hopefully the tree will think that they made a run for it and they're already gone. Tina says exactly what I think and tells them just how much of a dumbass idea that is. Tina says she's making a run for it, and Louise begs her to stay with them. Tina says she's going and asks Louise to go with her. And Louise says no, she's going to stay with her friends, and Tina's basically like, oh, you're fucked. That's typical. Tina says if you're going to be stupid, this is literally what she says. If you're going to be stupid, I'm not going to protect you anymore. Tina tells her to go back to her friends like you always do. Louise starts crying and is basically upset that Tina's running away. Cindy basically says, yeah, get riddance, fuck her. Cindy and Louise start arguing over Tina and everything before Faith tells them to shut the fuck up. We have to do something. But it's also funny that the power has been cut to the house, and yet the lights and there's a lamp on the piano that are still working. So did the power get cut out, the likelihood is the power got cut out, but we need some lighting so you're able to see the women during the scene. So let's go ahead and leave those lights on over there. We can even clearly see the plug in the outlet underneath the piano. I know it might be me being picky, but fuck that. Be realistic, guys. Come on. Louise says they can hide, but that Cindy and Faith can hide, but she's going to go find something to stop the tree. Why the fuck didn't you just run with your girlfriend? Like, ugh. Faith says they need to hide, and Louise pretty much says hiding is stupid. Yeah, smart girl. Cindy keeps up her peer pressure on Faith and pretty much says, fuck Louise, let's go find a place to hide. Well, Faith and Cindy run upstairs to hide. We cut over to Tina, who slowly opens the door, sneaks outside, closes it. She does close it behind her, though. Good for her. She closes the door behind her. Most people don't in horror movies. She makes a run for it and sees the tree around the corner of the house. The vines come at her and just fucking take her head clean off. It flies back and then lands in a bird bath. Tina's dead. Have fun. Every one of these kills, by the way, are CGI kills. Well, all these bloodier ones that are supposed to be like the tree stabbing and knocking heads off, they're CGI kills. They'd be great kills, but I hate CGI. I hate CGI kills. Use practical effects. Come on, it's not that expensive. We don't get a close up of the head though. Louise ends up finding like one hell of a shotgun and cocks it like a badass. Cindy and Faith run upstairs, still trying to find places to hide as the tree makes its way makes its way inside. Cindy puts Faith under her own bed. The first place anybody is going to look if they're breaking into your house, whether it's a monster, whether it's a serial killer, whatever, is under the bed. Why are we hiding under the bed? Stupid. Cindy goes and hides and goes, why did Cindy get the better hiding spot? Downstairs, the tree is walking around trying to find Faith and runs into now heavily armed Louise. Louise pops up and goes, surprise! And shoots the tree. He groans and then laughs, telling her, well, guess what, bitch? It went right through me. It did knock a couple of branches off, but it didn't really hurt him. The tree says, oh, I'm bulletproof too? And he laughs and basically does the whole scorpion, get over here! He just basically goes, come here, bitch! Grabs her with the Christmas lights and starts like lifting her up like she's being hung, basically. The lights fly out, grab her by the neck, hang her from the banister, choking her. Louise, and she takes forever to die. Like, she takes a long time to die. And the entire time, Clayton, the tree, is like talking shit. Like, you thought you got me, didn't you? He takes the lights and ties them off with the newel post, leaving her hanging there, right in the center. All of a sudden, another Christmas tree lights up behind him, like just pops up, and he thinks it's Morrigan. He walks over, he hugs the tree, and it falls over lifeless. And now he's pissed that it isn't her, and goes over to the piano and starts playing and singing Silent Night. He does like the first couple of, Silent Night, Holy Night, that before he starts walking away and walking up the stairs. And then like a female, like another version, like a popular version of it, pops over him and starts singing Silent Night, Silent Night, oh Silent, basically starts singing Silent Night as he walks. It's like a female singing as he walks up the stairs. It pans underneath. It pans to Faith hiding under the bed, tears in her eyes, and the tree slowly making its way upstairs. It's actually a pretty creepy scene for a change. Uh, but it's funny because you can obviously see there's like the guys in a tree suit walking the stairs. So now all of a sudden the tree has a knife. Silent Night is still playing. The tree is walking down the hallway, and we keep they start the second verse. Plays and it's still going, still panning between the tree and Faith, and then we finally see Cindy. We finally see Cindy hiding in the closet, and she's showing emotion. First time in the film, she's crying. Thunder booms behind as the tree opens the room where the girls are hiding, and he's talking like I know you're in here. The tree then has problems coming through the doors he barely fits, which I thought was funny. He tells Faith to come out, and he says, "Do you realize what I did? You realize what I did to your mom in this very room?" It's very Power Rangers esque, where they have to like move and talk at the same time, so you know which Power Ranger's talking. Like, it's that cheesy. Um, he tells her that he's going to find her and make her pay for what she did to him and what she did to Morrigan. The tree says they are still in the house, and that Faith will not escape him. He says he's going to rip her up. Now, and then the tree walks away, but for some fucking reason, Faith decides, hey, you know what? Now's the time to come out from under the bed. She's scared. She's in tears, scared shitless. As she gets Cindy out of the closet, and they go sneaking through the house, I assume now trying to escape. Something they should have done like 20 minutes ago, and bad things may not have happened. Faith says she thinks she thinks he's gone, but then the lights come out and wrap around, grab Cindy by the ankles, and start pulling her down. Drags her down the hall. The vines come out and stab Cindy to death. Faith doesn't even scream. She just runs for her life. Runs down the stairs, finds Louise hanging from the banister. Faith says she's so sorry before running away. She leaves the house via the basement, which probably should have done that to begin with, because I never saw the basement to begin with. Like, it's the exit of the basement, like from underground, she's exiting the house or the castle or whatever. The tree is somehow outside already chasing her. The tree says once again she'll pay for what she's done to him and Morrigan. Faith hides behind this really large tree as the tree, starts walking around looking for her. The tree keeps repeating the same threats over and over. It's like they feel they have to keep the tree talking to make you know that the tree's, what the tree's thinking. The tree is thinking its thoughts out loud. Let's put it that way. And it's kind of cheesy. Um, Clayton says she can't hide from him in the woods as he grew up in the woods, molded from this very soil. No, you weren't. You were clearly an artificial tree in the beginning of the movie. Morgan drugged the box and dropped it. Like you were built out of a box. Which now that what I wrote down, which now that I think of it, makes the vines very weird. Like, how is any of this? Ugh. So Faith keeps hiding behind the tree when all of a sudden a string of garland wraps around the tree and her neck. Very breakable garland. It's like that shit that you go like you just wrap your hands around and go, man, and it just snaps. Like I said, cheap shit. He says he's got her tied up and she'll try to get away, but she won't. She'll fight and she'll. It's almost like Gollum talking. She'll fight and she'll struggle, but that she won't be able to get away. It's the way I talk to my kids when I was playing with them. Like, and the way I talk to my kids, I'm playing with them like, oh, I know they're totally gonna get away. She tells him she didn't do anything, and he says if she had just died, he and Morrigan would both still be alive today. He calls her selfish for not wanting to die. And he tells her all this. He tells her she's all his now. And he imagined for that he would kill her many times, but never thought he would have this body. So many possibilities. Does he saw her limbs off with his branches? Does he stuff her full of tinsel? Or does he shove candy canes up her nose? They're driving it home that this is a Christmas movie, by the way, guys. Or does he have some fun beforehand and his branch starts caressing her like he wants to have sex with her, basically. Makes it down her body. She grabs something. I couldn't really tell what it was. I couldn't tell if it was rock or soil or something. But she hits him with it and he basically goes, ow! Then he starts laughing. He goes in for the kill. Then all of a sudden, this is where this shit gets so bullshit. A light shines behind him. He turns over and there's another fucking tree. And you can see the plastic base. It is a white tree. Where the fuck did this tree come from? Clayton turns around and goes, who the fuck are you? To the second tree. There's even 2 flashlights in the tree for eyes. The other tree says, don't you recognize us? It's a female voice coming out of it, but don't you recognize us? The other tree says it's inevitable that they find him. We're the ones that stay tethered to this world because of the link you left behind. And motherfucker, it's Faith's parents. I literally yelled, for fuck's sake, at this scene. It is Faith's parents. It's Faith's mother in the tree. The tree is Faith's mother. It's Faith's mother. What the fuck is going on? The female voice of the tree says it's okay, Faith. He can't hurt you anymore. And Faith just goes, Mom? He's trying to kill me. Faith's mom says to get inside and that they are here to protect her. Clayton says you're not strong enough, but Faith's mom says they are strong as he is, if not stronger. And lo and behold, guys, we get a full-on Christmas tree fight between the trees, both saying, and I'm talking like there's like the vines are coming out the arms that are punching each other, and they both take this. No, you take this. What's the fuck? Like they're literally saying take this as they're punching it. Like they have to voice everything. Basically, they lock up together. Their mom says their fates are shared as the trees basically collide and explode and somehow land in a perfectly built campfire right in front of Faith. And I'm not talking like just a pile of sticks, but it's a it's a campfire. She kneels down in front of it. She's apologizing that she couldn't help them and says thanks her parents for saving them. And then from behind, we see a hand come from behind Faith, and it touches her on the shoulder. And she turns in the start, like scared, like the hand scared her. The fire is gone. It's dark. And there's fucking Cindy. She is just sitting in the woods by herself, kneeling. Cindy says they've been looking for her for hours. Faith tells her Clay was there and her mom and dad saved her. Cindy's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? We've been looking for you for hours." Cindy asks if she remembers what happened at her parents' funeral, and Faith just starts crying into Cindy's shoulders. So, god damn it, it was a fucking dream. So officially, fuck this movie. Cindy brings Faith inside and to give her a cup of coffee and a warm bath to warm her up. The scene ends and we cut to daytime the next day. And Faith, Cindy, Louise, and Becky are all leaving the castle for the final time. They say, "Take one last look, girls," and then tell Cindy, and then they tell Cindy, "Let's go get you to your new home." Cindy says she's so done with this place. As she walks away, and Faith is the last one to walk away, the camera pans up to a large tree in the yard that's sitting in the yard, and of course, some red eyes appear. Roll credits. That's the movie. That's the Killing Tree. What the everlasting fuck is wrong with this movie? Like, the movie started out so well with that scene at the beginning. It was cheesy, but it's still like fun. Just going through the movie. I liked the tree. The tree was cool. It was a great idea. It was awesome. And then they had to CGI the shit out of the tree. That to me was like what ruined the tree. What ruined the movie almost is all the CGI. I don't understand the point. If you're gonna do kills like that, it is cheaper to do just a practical kill than it is CGI. Like, is there anybody out there that likes movies that are completely CGI? I mean, Green Lantern should have shown everybody. Why nobody likes CGI? Like, I don't get it. But the kills were dumb. They were cool, but they were just dumb because they were CGI. The story itself is creative. I'm giving you my review now because fuck this movie. The story was creative, but just got silly. None of the stuff made sense. We get to the thing. Why is there a second fucking tree? Who put the parent's body in the tree? Why is it there? Who brought it back to life? No, it's just a fucking tree sitting in the wood. And then it's all a fucking dream. Fuck this movie. Like, I was enjoying the movie for the first part. Then the second part was like, what? Why? What? So officially, we are going to give this movie 2.5 candy canes. Fuck this movie. I mean, watch it if you really want to. Oh my god, this movie. I legitimately got angry watching this movie, and I was laughing because how angry I was getting. But 2.5 stars. I don't suggest it. No, I'll say there's so many better Christmas horror movies out there, and I'm not just talking about like um. But yeah, there's just no. I can't even finish my thought on it. But let's move to the trivia. The Goops and the continuity. There's a lot of continuity issues. Because this first continuity, the only continuity thing I've seen here. So in the swimming pool scene, and I did this too. There's no one in the pool. The girl is knocked into the water, dunked, and then torn in half. Then that same girl is running for safety. Yeah, it ended up being like the guy, I guess, gets dunked in the pool. What I'm assuming is Paul gets like grabbed and then dunked in it. Fuck it. In the next scene, the same animation of a separate girl is torn in half is used. It's the same thing, except the other girl, of course, is in the Christmas cracker. Factual errors. According to this, a character, when Morrigan is trying to resurrect her husband with a satanic ritual, but uses a Star of David rather than a pentagram. It did look like a Star of David to me. It did look like a pentagram. I don't know what they're thinking. I could have been. I could be wrong, but that ain't what A woman is hanged with Christmas lights and is seen hanging in the air, but a shot reveals that she's standing on a chair and swaying her body from side to side. I didn't see this, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like, yeah, a character. It even says it on here. The tree says it was born in the woods, but it's an artificial tree that Morrigan took out of the box earlier. That, oh, yes, that bothered me. That really bothered me. What is this? What's that? Let's see. Is there any trivia? I don't see any trivia. Was released November 1st, 2022 in the United Kingdom. Official site is on Amazon. I don't know if it's free on Amazon. Let's take a look. Page not found. Like I said, I watched it on Tubi. So watch it on Tubi if you really want to watch it. Production company was Uncorked Entertainment and Dark Abyss Production. Uncorked puts a lot of movies out. The official runtime was 1 hour and 13 minutes. I'm not seeing any kind of trivia. Reviews. See, what's the reviews? 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, yeah. But yeah, so guys, that's the Killing Tree. I hope everyone enjoyed the show this week. Again, hopefully next week I'll get some working headphones in here. Almost positive I'll have the working headphones. But guys, if you want to find me, you can find me at the Bloody Binge Movie Podcast on all social medias, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook. You can also find me on the Owl Light Network every other Wednesday when we start doing the wrestling show again. When we start doing Mats and Monsters with, of course, Matt and Raz. You will find me there every other Wednesday talking wrestling. I miss talking wrestling with you guys. I hope we get to start doing that again soon. You can also find me on Twitch at Sewer Dweller 78. Nothing's going on right now on Twitter because I do need to get some new headphones. I don't want to, I have, right now I'm like holding it to my ear. Also, if you're out and about and you're in the Dayton, Ohio area tomorrow, pretty much all day from 9 a.m. till I think 6 at least. We will be Hell's Dungeon itself. I will be with the Hell's Dungeon crew at Harley Davidson in Xenia from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for their party in the parking lot. Come check it out if you're in the Dayton area. There's going to be live music. There's going to be food trucks. There's going to be just a giant party in the parking lots. We will be in costume. Coney the Clown is making an out of season appearance, and he looks forward to meeting everybody tomorrow afternoon. So come on, check us out at Harley Davidson in Xenia. Also, keep an eye out on the Hell's Dungeon page. We are opening Dungeon Darts. Come check out Dungeon Darts as well. But guys, I'm gonna sign off on that. I hope everyone's having a great time. Merry Christmas in July. And guys, as always, keep watching horror movies.